What it do everybody? It's your boy Zilla back at it with another vlog today. It's gonna be part 2 on the G35 that I have been working on for quite some time already. Not quite some time, but a couple of days already. Had to catch up on the porting on the manifolds. So now we're getting to the fun part. Now that all the manifolds are ported, we can go ahead and do the fuel system with these UPT injectors. They're okay, but nevertheless, we're gonna go ahead and start assembling them on the VHR fuel rail. Now, call me crazy, but we are mid-October here in LA, and it's like 95 degrees. It's kind of crazy. But, nevertheless, we have here the UPT injectors. UPT. They look exactly like Denso injectors. Now, the saying is, you get what you pay for, right? These are pretty good injectors for what you get for what you pay for. But, I suggest going with some either authentic GTR injectors or ID injectors. But customer brought these along with the UPT fuel pump that's already installed in the car. UPT 255. These are supposedly Walbro fuel pumps. So what are we gonna do here? Install the injectors. So grab this little baby injector right here. I don't even know the size on these. I think they're like 600. Just gonna put a little bit of WD-40 on them, just like that. No, cool. It's double. There you go. There you go. Just enough. Don't be too scared. Now I know I don't have the clips on just yet, but put them on like that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna hold off until we take everything off, because I'm gonna show you guys a trick. Actually, never mind. I already showed you that trick. Actually, never mind. I'll just leave it like that. Let's get to the disassembly part of the G35. That way I can show you guys a trick. I'm not sure if I showed you guys a little trick on that, on how to install these injectors and not waste too much time. So let's start taking it apart. Here's the ported manifold. Hell yeah, let's get to it. Now, since we are going to do the 3-inch intake conversion, we can go ahead and take these bad boys off. Let's go ahead and take them off right now. Let's get you guys set up properly like that. Hell yeah, it's a better angle. So we can go ahead and take these bad boys off. Take out our map sensor and all this other stuff. We can go ahead and take off right now too. Let me go get some more tools and we'll get back to it. Now, as I was saying, we can go ahead and take all this stuff off already. Where did my screwdrivers go? Damn, don't tell me I didn't bring no screwdrivers. Oh yes, I did. That's what I literally went for, and I totally thought I forgot about it. Well, just like that. Damn, that's crazy. So whoever worked on this car last and installed these intakes totally forgot to put that one in, and this one was already falling off. Look at that. That's crazy. Well, I'll try to take it off as carefully as I can. As to this one, actually this one will just come off by just taking off this bad boy right here. And these weren't even long tube intakes either, they were just shorties. If I were you guys, don't even waste your money on shorties. Run the OEM ones. The OEM intakes, just throw in the K&N filter and you'll make a lot more power than you would with these, because this is just literally heat soaking in the air, because it's literally in the engine bay. But let's get back to work. Now, for this VHR conversion that we're going to do, the VHR manifold conversion, we can go ahead and take off literally all these little lines that are for the intake tubes. We can go ahead and take those off, the ones in the back. And I know some of you guys are gonna say or ask, what are we gonna do with the 2 front ones that are open in the VHR? And I'll show you guys that right now. Let's go ahead and take off the throttle bodies and then we'll go from there. Now, once we've taken off the throttle bodies, we go to the back and take off this valve over here in the back. Go ahead and take off the 2 10mm, and then this water, this is a this coolant rail over here in the back of the manifolds, just scoot it back. Just 2 10mm bolts. This one for some reason came unbolted, so it was missing 2 bolts, one in the driver, one in the passenger side. So that's less work for me to do, but just scoot it back. These are the coolant lines that are connected to the throttle bodies. You can actually delete these if you want to. That's totally up to you. But for right now, we're just gonna scoot these bad boys over. Now we can start taking off the manifold, upper manifold, which are 12mm bolts on the top. Take those off, and that'll expose the lower manifold and the rails. Now that we have the lower manifold and fuel rails exposed, pretty simple from here. An HR is easier to, a lot less work. Not that the VHR is harder, but as far as the fuel rail, actually no, you know what, I take that back. VHR is a lot easier because it has one plug for the fuel rails, I mean for the injectors. On the HR, it's every individual injector, that plug that you need to take off. So we'll start taking those off right now. But what you do from here, you take off the two 10mm bolts right here from the fuel rail line to the fuel rail. Take off the bracket right here. It's a 10mm bolt to this harness bracket. Then another bracket holding the fuel rails is a 12mm bolt. Now let me warn you, when you guys are doing or opening up this fuel rail system, just be careful. Grab like a shop rag or something, put it over the fuel rail, and then pop off the line. It just has an O-ring, so don't worry, but it will spray out fuel because it does have pressure right now. So especially since if you just move the car too. Oh damn, would you look at that missing bolt on the belt cover? Oh, found it. It's right here. Oh, it snapped. So look at that. Anyways, well, anyways, when you guys are working on these cars, also be mindful when you're opening up this manifold system. Don't drop anything in here, because if you drop something in there, that goes directly into the valves. So you don't want to drop a small 10mm bolt in there and you, I don't know, forget that's in there, or you just don't know that something fell in there. Once you turn on that motor, yeah, you can kiss it goodbye. So it can easily go from a cheap job to a headache. Well, we have the fuel rail off. Now we can set it off to the side, and we get back to the lower manifold, take off the 12mm and 12mm bolts and nuts that it has. Go ahead and collect those nice and safe. All right, now we can go ahead and take off this manifold. Oh, that's right, there's a plug in the back for your knock sensors, I believe. Yeah, for the knock sensors, it's being held on by a 10mm bolt. So we'll take that off in the back, and let me take it off so we can take off the lower manifold. And now that it's open, we can just start grabbing a bunch of bolts and shoving them in the motor in these ports, and you can start putting everything back together and turn it on. And yeah, just kidding, don't do that. So now we can go ahead and grab our lower manifold from the VHR, which that should be over here. Yes, here it is. For the manifold from a VHR. Actually, hold on. Much better. Nothing some aluminum paint can't do. So throw that bad boy back in here, just like that. Start putting on these nuts on here, just like that. Missing one more. Here it is. And then got my 12mm bolts that go in every corner of the manifolds on the HRs. Where did that? Here it is. Now let's start bolting that back on. Now that that's put on, here comes the fun part. Let's take these fuel rails over here. Oh, careful, because it does leak fuel since it still has fuel in there. So make sure you drain that out. Let's go to the workbench over here. Perfect. Here we are. Now, there are some differences on this VHR fuel rail, or this HR fuel rail, compared to this VHR. So if you guys can see right here, this little peg that holds the clip for the injectors is facing this way, actually like that, right? And on the VHR, it's facing inwards. So pretty much all you have to do is put the clip in first and rotate the injector. It's okay if this little peg isn't in there, it's not going anywhere. Plus it's being bolted down, and if you bolt it down correctly, there shouldn't be no issues. I've done this multiple times and it does not leak from this O-ring. If it does leak from this O-ring, then that means your O-ring is bad. It's not that this clip is bad or wasn't put on correctly, but that O-ring is bad. So if anyone tells you that this is wrong, they can well, I can't say it on here because this is YouTube and we have regulations, but anyways, clip is on there properly, and you can see, and I'm pulling on this injector, you can see that it's not going anywhere. So it's on there pretty snug. So let's get to do that to the rest of the injectors and slap on this fuel rail. Now, since this is a VHR lower manifold and VHR injector fuel rail, they'll bolt up just fine, just fine. So now we can put the plugs in for the injectors, just like that. You can see once everything is bolted down properly, injectors are in there fine. You'll have normal rotation in there, but they won't go up or down. You can turn them, but you can't move them up or down. So now that that's done, we can go ahead and put this rail in there, but we are going to have to bend it slightly. So it does have like a 90-degree angle right here. We just bend it very, very gently. We should be fine. And well, if you know me, I like to turn on the fuel pump and build up some pressure before we even start going farther into putting on the upper manifold. That way I know that I didn't rip any of the O-rings in the fuel system. By what I mean the fuel system is, I mean the little fuel rails that we took off. Let me see, there we go. And you'll hear the fuel pump turn on also from inside the cabin. So you can hear it in the background. So now let's go check out if it's leaking anywhere. So if it's not leaking through here, that line that we bent, I'm gonna have it on for at least 2 minutes. If it's not leaking at all, it won't leak later down the road. Of course, it's gonna start leaking down the road if you're using the 85 and you keep taking these off and on and not taking them off with caution. So yeah, as long as it's not leaking here, you know, I did my job there. So no leaks. So now we can throw on the VHR upper manifold and close her off. Oh, now that I have the VHR upper manifold in place, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, put a little plug with some RTV in the back if you have an HR, just to plug this map sensor on there. So yeah, just plug it up. Do it before you install the manifold, because if this little plug goes in there, yeah, it could fall into the runners. So just do yourself a favor, install it while the manifold's off. There is 2 types of VHR manifolds, and a lot of people do not know about this. If you pay attention, you do. If you don't, then I'm going to tell you. If you guys can see this VHR upper manifold, it uses smaller bolts. So if I grab one of these longer bolts from an HR or V1 or G37 VHR manifold, you can see that it's too tall, right? So you're going to need a smaller bolt like this one, which I do have right here, this smaller manifold bolt. Why? Because this one doesn't have a bigger a spacer the same size as this one. For some reason, the V1 VHRs, what I mean by V1, I feel like there is two versions of the VHR. I think it started changing in 2014 is when they came out with the well, not the metal, but the upgraded gallery gasket. And I feel like they changed a couple things like this manifold. Like the first generation VHRs have this spacer, which is why they use a longer bolt. It was kind of stupid. And the HRs also have it. So the V2s, which is this manifold right here, has no spacer. Just throw that bolt in there, you'll be fine. So just keep that in mind. There is 2 types. If you go to the junkyard and you find yourself a V2, get the bolts too, and everything from the manifold, so that way you don't have to struggle and look for some bolts. You can finish that same day. So if you didn't know, now you know. So I hope I made your life a lot easier. So just drop them in there. So far I've been getting all of them in there. Hell yeah, except for that one. We'll worry about that one. And then the nuts are the same thing, and the nuts over here, exactly the same thing. So now we can bolt it down and then I'll show you guys what to do about these bad boys right here. Now, in this case, since we are using 3-inch intakes, I can delete this hose, which is over here. Should have taken it off before I put in the manifold. So let me take it off and I'll show you guys which one I'm talking about. You guys can watch me struggle. Oh damn, you guys fell. Hope you guys are okay. Actually, I'm gonna put you guys on the other side, facing that way. Hell yeah, just like that, perfect. Now we can grab, see, oh, they're over here. Oh, perfect. No, god damn it. This is embarrassing. You guys keep falling. Stop falling. Stop falling. There you go. So we can go ahead and take this bad boy over here where the PCV valve is at. Scoop the throttle body out of here. There you go. Atta boy. Get this hose out of here. So this hose connects to the VHR, or I mean the HR manifold in the back. It goes from your PCV valve, which is right here, from your PCV valve all the way to the back of the HR manifold back here. You can get rid of this. We're not going to need that. So we get rid of it, and now all we have to plug in the back is just this one for the brake booster. Remember how I told you these lines, the coolant lines, are going to matter? Because only one matches up and the other one doesn't. So I do have one bolt for it that I was able to scavenge through all my bolts that I have for Nissan. So grab that bolt and bolt it down. Once we bolt this one back down, this bolts on perfectly fine because the VHR also uses a valve, and then everything else goes pretty much the same. Like I said, we are doing the 3-inch intakes. Please be mindful when buying used parts, used intakes, especially right here, the only place where it can't be fucked up. Strip bolt. Now it looked like they tried repairing it and they put an oversized bolt in there, but yeah, that's no bueno. No bueno. So that's why I really can't guarantee my work when you guys bring me used parts, because I have to deal with all the headaches that you guys don't want to deal with from buying new parts. Just buy new parts and you avoid a lot of things. So I'm gonna work with what we got. Well, another thing that you guys should keep in mind, since we are running 3-inch intakes, we can leave the PCV valve open along with this one over here. A lot of people just say put a breather valve kit, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, that doesn't do anything except, yeah, catch a little bit of oil that it barely throws out from there. So the reason it ends up being a lot in your intake manifold is because it's connected to your intake tube. So obviously that force being pulled in is gonna suck everything out. So if you leave it open here and there, you'll see maybe barely anything of oil, maybe less than a teardrop come out of it. So I would suggest saving up some money and getting a proper oil catch can. Don't spend $100 just to get that breather valve kit. Just save some money and get a proper oil catch can. So here I had to do some more trimming because, again, these intakes aren't for a G35, but we made them fit. So yeah, but here we go. One last thing, and that's going to be right here, and I'll show you what to do right there. So now here we just put the same plugs that I put in the back over here, which this one's dried up already. Just put some in the front, put some zip ties on there so it won't come out, which it shouldn't. And if for whatever reason you're having backfires from your manifold coming from right here or back there, you have some serious issues. So that's how you do a VHR manifold conversion. Only thing you need is upper manifold, lower manifold, fuel rail, and to save yourself some time, if you don't want to bend this fuel rail right here, just get it too from a G37 to 370Z. So other than that, she's good to go. Time to turn her on. And just like that, she is on. Let's check her out. Like to make sure there's no vacuum leaks. tight. Everything's plugged in over here in the back. You guys can see that. There you go. What is up, you guys? Day 2, and guess what? That G35 came back because we're gonna do an AC delete, and I believe when they were trying to tune it, the main O2 sensors were acting up, so we're gonna change those out, but not today. Couldn't find the parts on time, so we're gonna leave that for another video. But something interesting showed up here at the shop. An HR swap 350Z that's been in the making for about a year, 2 years. Moral of the story, don't do an HR swap, just buy a 350Z that's already HR. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going in here. We're about to do the dash harness right now, and then yeah, finish a lot of stuff. So let's get to it. So yes, like I said, day 2, now it's day 3. It's not day 3, it's like day 4. I did do the AC delete on this G35, the HR, the one that we did the VHR ported manifolds on. Did a AC delete, no lines, no nothing of that, gone. Belt, shortened belt also installed. If you guys want the part number for a shortened belt so you can do an AC delete, just get that right there. And then what else? Oh yes, we're gonna start doing the O2 sensors right now. They're actually on their way. They've been running a little backed up on me, but I can go ahead and start taking them off, slap the new ones on, and hopefully get rid of that code and get her back to getting tuned. And yes, you guys did see that, correct? That built HR that we had a while ago here at the shop came back. I hate when the camera can't focus because of the sun. Right there, perfect. The built HR came back, not because something's wrong with the motor, but because we're gonna finish doing this HR swap for my guy Fernie. Unfortunately, he had it at a different shop, and yeah, I guess they were working on it for 3 months and didn't really do much to it. My boy Fernie, they sent him the wrong what's it called, the body harness, so we had to replace that one with the correct one. We got the motor to crank a little bit. Today we're gonna do his fuel system, and then also the relay kit for the fuel pump. Since it is a 525 fuel pump, you need a relay kit for it. We'll do that, and then hopefully get it started. At least, you know, with the shitty interior, but at least get it running to see where we're at with oil pressure, fuel pressure, and no vacuum leaks, no none of that type of thing, no leaks or anything like that. And then we can focus on the little details that this car has. So we're on the right path. We just gotta put some time into it. So, but first we're gonna do that G35, get the those O2s installed, and then we can jump onto Fernie's car. Then we got this 370Z also. Came in because I believe it isn't starting, and then something, power steering pump's bad, so we're gonna replace that. But first we're gonna see any electrical issues, because it is a salvaged car, so you guys can tell a lot of broken pieces here and there. But nonetheless, we'll get started on this after all the stuff we got ahead of us. So we're gonna go in order: G35, Fernys, and then this 370Z. Let's get it. Here I have both sensors off already, one on each side. And then I know a couple of you guys are gonna ask me, how did I do it? Well, quick and easy way. This is my snap-on 3/8 ratchet. It's pretty long. I'm gonna say it's a 6-inch. That is not 6 inches. I don't know how long it is. 10 inches maybe? Yeah. That, and then I used a long extension, which I have over here. Right here. This bad boy right here. This extension, a swivel socket 3/8, and my snap-on O2 sensor socket. So yeah, you can easily get it from the top. Make sure that's in all the way as far as the O2 sensor, so that way you don't strip the nut, and you should be fine. Should be easy to take off from the top, unless you have like really oxidated manifolds and sensor, then you're kind of screwed, because you're gonna have let's just say it's gonna be a long day for you, because it's bound to get stripped. So just make sure, if you can, a day before or a couple days before you want to plan on doing this job and your car's sitting there,
make sure you're spraying a bunch of WD-40 on top of it. Just let it soak here and there. Just start spraying it, and then the day of when you start doing the job, just go ahead and spray it one more time, and then get to it from the top. You could do it from the bottom, but I like doing it from the top. I'm more of a top guy, if you know what I mean. But yeah, they came out pretty easy. Right now, again, I'm just waiting for them to arrive and we can install the new ones. But these are all dirty. So yeah, hopefully they get here soon and I can finish this car up. As far as Fernys 350Z, I already got started on a lot of little details that we had, like some water hoses that weren't plugged in from the back. The vacuum line, since it's this is the brake booster vacuum line. Normally on an HR would just go through the firewall and straight over here. DEs, they do have it on that side, so try to keep it as OEM as possible and not ruin this firewall. I ran the normal vacuum hose or vacuum line that it has, OEM, and they just added a hose straight to it. What else? I'm missing the the mass sensor bolts, already bolted down the manifold. I gotta go down underneath the car because it looks like whoever installed this oil cooler did not install it right, so it is leaking, or maybe it's just loose. I could be wrong. So it is leaking a lot of oil since we did put some in yesterday. I gotta install some grounds from an HR that usually go up here, put them here down to the frame. It already has one down here which comes normally on the DE on the passenger side straight to the frame. But don't ever forget that when you have a performance car or just any car in general, it doesn't hurt to add more grounds. As a matter of fact, it benefits the vehicle a lot more. So that way we'll just add that ground, and then we'll see anything else underneath once I jack it up. As of right now, we're gonna have to probably take off these fans. These are from a DE, so we're gonna get some HR fans, and then we can start adding coolant in there and doing the pressure test, making sure there's no water leaks. Once again, what else are we missing? Yes, like I said, the relay kit also, we'll probably do that today. That will make sure we're getting enough fuel pressure all the way to the front, and we should be good to go. So it's gonna be quick. We're gonna try to focus hard on this one, that we can get Fernie to tune day. So goal is to have this car on by this weekend. That way we can break it in as quick as possible, breaking the motor 500 miles or maybe less, I don't really care. And then hopefully you'll make it to tune day, the exact same day we're gonna take the 370Z over there. So hopefully let's hope everything goes as smooth as possible and as right as possible. So I don't want to jinx myself, but we're gonna put enough time in this car, so hopefully it won't give us issues. Gotta tape these up too. I hate when wires look like this, especially since they've been spliced already. So I think this harness was bought from Sac City. Yeah, this harness was bought from Sac City, as well as the interior harness, whatever you want to call it, was bought from Sac City. So let's get to it. Got a long way to go. Well, G35 is gone. I was able to correct the issues with the O2 sensors. We ended up finding a open wire for the O2 sensors that kept making the code keep going off, and it blew one of the fuses. If you guys don't know, let's see, let me show you right here on a 350Z and G35, G37s, 370Zs, they have O2 sensor fuses. For some reason that one was blown, but not for some reason, but because of that wire that kept making false contact, and it was open and shorted. That fuse was open or blown, so changed out the fuse and corrected the wiring. Good to go. So now he's on his way to get tuned by Bondo. Hopefully everything goes as smooth as possible, and then he should be back for transmission oil cooler and engine oil cooler, and then the LSD that we have on the G35. So yeah, we'll be seeing that car very soon, and I got a lot of little details to work on that car too. He says he wants to do pretty much gut it, so we're gonna do our best to gut the car and make it look as OEM as possible. I don't want it to look like this, where everything's all open. I don't think I've shown you guys the inside of this car yet, but we only have it open because we were changing out the harness, and yeah, it's a mess, but hey, it's gonna look better once it's done. Promise you that.
Well, you guys, with that being said, we are exactly about 3 days away from getting the 370Z tuned, so I'm excited for that. Sam, she wants to come out of the videos too. So we're exactly 3 days from getting tuned by admin and seeing how much power the 370Z makes. If you guys have any guesses, leave them down below in the comments. And then another thing too, I have some merch that I just picked up for the Trailblazer Super Sport. So next episode I'll show you guys the merch. I only have 2 designs right now, currently 4 shirts, so stay tuned for that. And you guys, I shall catch you guys on the next upload. Oh damn, puppy love. Where my German Shepherd lovers at? Oh my god, I'm getting attacked by now. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.